So from Capture One, you've exported out some black and white processed images, or for that matter, any images that you need to print. And so you're going to be printing them out of Lightroom. So after you process them in Capture One, you couldn't export out as a DNG or a RAW file with a sidecar. So what you needed to do was export out a Photoshop file or a TIFF file. So once you've exported them out, you need to import them into back into Lightroom to print from Capture One. So here's how we're going to do this. You've already exported them out. They're already a file that exists somewhere. For our purposes for this demo, I have a desktop file called A04 McDonald, and I've got some Photoshop and some TIFF files in here I want to import into Lightroom. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and say File, Import. So Command-Shift-I or press the Import button, whichever way you go about doing it. Now I need to navigate to the desktop, and then I'm going to navigate to that A04 folder that you saw on the desktop, and here are 6 images, 2 different TIFFs of the same image, a PSD file, and once again here, another TIFF file and another PSD of this image here. So once I do this, I'm going to go ahead and add them to a collection. There is a collection that's been created under Assignment Collections. If I click here, I'm going to say, okay, let's put it into there. Keywording if I want. If I haven't already done it, I would put in A04 or whatever assignment it might be. For this example, I'll just write black and white. What is missing from this group that I exported out is I don't have a hand-colored one, or not a hand-colored, but a duotone one that looks like a toned black and white. And if I needed that to have it in here, I would be basically bringing that one in too. So once I've got those keyworded, I'm sending it to the correct location. I can go ahead now and choose to either copy them from this existing location, or I could choose to move them, or whatever my purposes are. So I'm going to choose to go ahead and just add them to the catalog from their destination right now, because these are just duplicates that are going to be printed for an assignment purpose. But if I needed to have those in a location where I originally wanted them, I might consider putting them into a folder that's in a permanent location. For my purposes, if it's demo, it's a temporary location. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add them in. If I wanted to move them to a temporary location, I would basically do copy, and then I would choose to put them wherever they needed to go on an external drive, probably somewhere inside of, like, here's a folder called Photo 5 Lightroom sample images. So if I wanted to put them into that folder there, I could do it. And if I wanted to, I can go ahead and create a new folder inside of here by doing a right click, create no folder, and I would just create a new folder in that destination. I'll just call this A0. I'll call this black and white samples. All right, PSD TIFF samples. I'll hit create, I'll hit choose. That's where it's going to go. You can see there's the images going in. Now I'm going to go ahead and just say import away. And now they've imported in, and now I'm ready to go ahead and take one of these files. You'll notice that I've already added them to a collection, so however many I'm printing out of here and whatever my purposes are for printing out of here, if this is one of the ones. Now, don't process them in here. Whatever you do, because they have been brought over from Capture One, you want to make sure that they actually are not processed. You're basically printing it as is from it being processed in another program. And then I would just go ahead and go to the print module, and I would order up a print, and once again do all the settings that I normally do, making sure that I'm doing the page setup and choosing the correct printer, choosing any sort of presets, or setting the output for the different types of paper, and then hit printer last time to make sure it's printing correctly. Obviously I would choose my profiles and all that stuff here. So that's basically it. So that's importing to be printed inside of Lightroom.